Hello, everyone. Before we begin today's show, we just want to take a moment to extend our just heartfelt sadness out to the Graz community out there in Austria. The current count for people who have died in the mass shooting is 10. By the time you listen to this podcast, that number might be higher based on the folks who are in the hospital. But our hearts just go out to the families, to the victims, obviously, and we just hope that Austria is able to, put some things in place to ensure that this doesn't happen moving forward. Because thoughts and prayers can only go so far. But again, we feel so bad. We know as Americans what it's like. It's not good for any community anywhere in the world. And so again, our hearts here at Fourth Down Fiasco go out to the Graz community out there in Austria.
Fires, Mike Sims, Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him turn back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught.
Denver, unbelievable.
And welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Down Fiasco, your go-to podcast for all things football, brought to you by BetStamp. BetStamp is your place for all things betting. Yes, we're talking Bet365, BetMGM, Caesars, FanDuel, all the big name sports bookies all in one place just for you. You can check them out at signupexpert.com/fiasco. Place a $10 bet. The NBA Finals is currently happening. You got baseball going on. I don't know shit about soccer, but I know that that's happening right now too. UFC, boxing, it doesn't really matter. Any type of sporting event. WNBA, hey, let's put some money down on some ladies in a very respectful manner. Okay. Again, that's signupexpert.com/fiasco. Would love for y'all to place a $10 bet. And if you win something, it's because of us. And if you lose something, we are not responsible.
Because of you.
Yes, that one is because of you and your gambling addiction. There's also a hotline, but I don't know what that is for Europe because right now we're talking about European football, well, American football in Europe. And with me, as always, is my co-star and contributor, Danny Weber. It's been a couple of weeks since you and I have been together, hasn't it?
It has. It's been sad. I've been missing you.
I've been missing you, brother. Danny and I used to live about 10, 15 minutes away, and now we live about 7 hours away. So miss you, buddy.
It's so sad.
Yeah, hey, I mean, you could always move out to Salt Lake for a year and then just move back to Fort Collins when you move back to Fort Collins.
I'll just follow you.
Yeah, it'd be great.
One thing about BetStamp, I know I'm Bet365 in at least the UK. I don't know if it's extended to the rest of Europe. We've seen people bet on the ELF. We know some people that made some money last week.
Ooh.
In the UK.
I didn't know that BetStamp was out there in the UK like that.
Who knows if it is? Maybe our link works in the UK. Someone be a test dummy. But I know bets on 365.
Ooh, we might have to do some lines today.
$10 on Madrid. Who knows?
Yeah, got to do some money lines today while we do pick'ems. So, well, diving into the show, we are going to recap Week 4 of the European League of Football. Daniel, what stood out to you, brother?
This was not as good of a week as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, it was a weird week at that too. We
learned a lot about teams.
Yeah, and there were some upsets, but it was upsets that, the pendulum swung a little too far the other way, and so the upsets turned into blowouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were two upsets that turned into blowouts. We can talk about the good old rematch from Week 1, the Jalen Henderson-led Paris Musketeers against the Rhine Fire.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is we talk shit about Paris not having any type of offense on this show, and the past 2 weeks, the offense has been doing their thing. So Paris looking nice.
I've been saying for the past couple weeks, I want to see Paris's offense. They came out a little bit last week. They showed up again against the stout Ryan Fire defense.
Whew, boy, did they show out. Honestly, for them to be 2-2 going into their bye week this week is huge for them.
That's basically undefeated in their books.
And honestly, if it weren't for the fact that they choked last week against Frankfurt, if DuPont could have a normal kickoff and not start them off at the 45-yard line or whatever it is, they win that game, they're 3-1. And honestly, their first week loss really wasn't that bad.
No, and I think Jamal kind of said it in his little recap video. I think Del Rio regrets running man on that scramble at the end of the game. Yeah. I don't know what was going through his head.
Yeah, dude,
but it didn't work out, and I bet he regrets that because they were one play away from being 3-1, and probably one of the best teams in the ELF.
Yeah, they're one bad kickoff away and one field goal away from being 4-0, honestly, against a gauntlet of a first 4 games. My goodness.
If they make the playoffs, oh no.
Oh, I thought that, because we had talked about it before, that, they might end up being like 6-6 and just miss the playoffs by like a game or two. I'm thinking that they might. I still think that they're going to lose another game or two just because their schedule sucks so much.
They play Stuttgart again, and that 6-0 game against Stuttgart's not going to happen again.
No. Riley Casey's not been blanked again.
They have a very easy remaining schedule outside of 4 games. They will play Frankfurt again. They will play Stuttgart again. And they play Vienna twice.
Yeah, I think
that they get Cologne. So
I think that they drop a game to Vienna. I think that they'll split 1-1 with Vienna. I think that they're going to lose the game to Stuttgart because Stuttgart's not going to take too kindly to what they did. And then I think that they'll beat Frankfurt. I think that they'll come back, and I think that they might spank Frankfurt just out of sheer disgust of themselves.
Yeah, and it's out the bye week and at home. So
yeah. So we're talking about an 8-4 Paris team that has honestly by far the worst schedule in the league. And they go hurt somebody's feelings in the playoffs.
Does 8-4 get you to the playoffs in this league?
I think it does, doesn't it? Because wasn't Munich 8-4 last year? Or were they 9-3?
Because the teams that will finish above 8-4 tentatively right now: Vienna, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, for example, Madrid, Nordic, Munich. That's 6.
Are we sure Munich?
They're 2-1. They look good. They have a good defense.
I will say, I know that Tabor had a rough week past week, but I like him. I think that he is going to be a star in this league. I think that this was kind of a reality check for this Munich team. I saw some folks who were putting Munich as, like their number 3 team in their power rankings and things like that. And I was like, all right, we need to, let's take a deep breath. Let's calm down a little bit. But even with the struggles that Tabor had last week, man, his ability to improvise under pressure and to make the right decisions most of the time when improvising under pressure at his age is incredibly impressive. And he's just going to get better at it as time goes along. And if I'm Munich, I'm trying to sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal and beef up that offensive line because that's part of it.
They signed to a 2 or 3 year deal.
They did? Mm-hmm. Oh, good for them.
Initial signing, yeah. This is their quarterback for the future.
Hell yeah.
So 8-4 last year, missed the playoffs. The Raiders finished 8-4, losing out to Munich in that final game. They were both going in at 8-3. And then Munich beat the Raiders. Yeah. 2 years ago, however, 2 teams made it at 8-4. And the Raiders missed out again going 8-4. They were the odd man out looking in.
That sucks. Dude, that sucks.
So 8-4, depending on how the cookie crumbles, may not make you to the playoffs, get you to the playoffs.
I really do think that they, it should expand it to 7 teams instead of 6. I understand why they don't want to do 8 since we only have 16 teams in the league.
Totally. 8 would be the best. There'd be no point.
Yeah. But 7, I think 7 would be good because then your number 1 seed is still getting their bye that they so rightfully deserve, but then you have the opportunity. I mean, because if Paris comes in in this hypothetical as the 7th seed and is playing a Stuttgart or is playing a Frankfurt or Nordic or whoever else, I could see a world where Paris gets that upset personally.
I mean, we saw it. If they played Stuttgart, they can beat Stuttgart. They did it. Well, they can beat Frankfurt technically.
Now, I do think that it is a little bit different if Stuttgart has their AM port and
of course it is. But football's football.
But football's football, true. Because I mean, again, you if your AM port gets hurt in playoffs, then sucks to be you.
I'm going to take a backhanded slap at Hennessy, but he threw 3 picks through the entire regular season and then threw 3 picks in a game.
Yeah, football's football.
It happens.
That is fair. But yeah,
Paris a lot better than what I look. Fire struggling.
Yeah, Fire struggling. I know a lot of people think that they're going to lose. They're not going to lose a 3rd game in a row. There's no chance in hell. If they do, then I think that their chances at the playoffs are completely gone.
Oh, if they fall to 1-3,
they're done though. Yeah.
But Tom Sula rolled out completely for the rest of the year. OC is gone. New OC won't come until after the Hamburg game.
It's hard because it's like we've only seen the current version of Hamburg for the past 2 games, and we've seen Talia Tagovailoa suck against a real defense, but we've seen him play really well against a shit defense.
And we haven't seen him play with experience against a good defense.
Yeah, not having a 1.5 year break of not playing football and then diving into something like that.
Against Stuttgart.
Yeah, so that's hard. I would like to think that Ryan still wins that game. We'll get into that in pictures. I do want to also shout out the Prague Lions. Hoo-wee. Prague Lions spanked the Panthers. My goodness.
I was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that either. I mean, I had heard calls for the upset and everything, and I was like, I could see it, but I was thinking that it would be, a 24-21 type of affair. It was not.
I will throw myself under the bus. I was talking shit about Matt Breslington to somebody. And I was like, he's going to roll with Prague like he always does because he's a homer, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's his lost little kid. He can't bet against it.
That is awful.
45-13.
Look.
Willie Patterson had himself a day.
Dude, Guilford was out there giving DJ Irons the work, bro. Putting that man in absolute hell. Now, of course, Irons was definitely running for his life, but the fact that the Panthers' O-line can't stop Prague's, rush attack, like their defensive rushing attack is
better than I thought they would be on defense.
Crazy.
Yeah. But quickly brief over. Farivar still garbage. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bad.
Centurions completely unplayable.
They scored 15 though.
Yeah, garbage time. That's just like, the Munich Ravens Stuttgart Surge game. Dude, Munich got all of their Stuttgart took their foot off the gas.
But it's not like they scored 16 in the 3rd. It wasn't garbage time. Like they were trying to.
I thought it was the 4th.
Yeah, Munich scored this many in the 4th. They scored 0 in the 4th. So they were trying to inch their way back. Like they were still fighting.
Gotcha. And then in the 4th, Stuttgart was like, "Oh, y'all are a little too close. We need to put the foot back on the gas, at least defensively."
Or actually,
I do like Munich though.
The website is wrong. Scoring summary says Munich scored twice in the 4th quarter.
That's what I thought. I watched that game.
But the top thing above, right below the scores, says 16 in the 3rd quarter. I'm going to go 4th quarter because, I thought it was the 4th quarter.
I was going to say, I watched the game and I could have sworn it was 4th.
But I mean, starting the 4th quarter, it was only 33-20. So they're only down by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just a weird week. Raiders Tyrol completely not competitive against Vienna, which was so sad to see. I thought that they would lose, but I thought it would be a decent game.
Yeah, especially because they dropped 68 and 44 the previous 2 weeks and then dropped 7. Is that just Vienna's defense, or is that just, I don't know.
Integrating I know that Nkosi Perry isn't a new quarterback per se, but you go 2 weeks in a row of running Wildcat offense, the things are just going to be off whenever you incorporate a real quarterback back into the mix. Oh,
but other than that, Madrid, we were talking about it before the show. I kind of tend to forget about it that they're 3-1 because they had that one loss to Frankfurt when we just shit on their defense, saying they couldn't stop anything on the ground. Mm-hmm. And I still don't think they can. We'll find out more this week. But them being 3-1, and Krunschenk and Selig, holy cow, what a trio.
Their offense is ridiculous.
Yeah. I
mean, prime time television, baby. Like, that is
big play after big play.
Yeah. I can't tell you just straight numbers right off the top of my head. They're probably not number one offensively just because of their week 1 woes or week 2 woes, whatever. But as far as just entertainment value, ain't a offense in the league more entertaining than the Madrid.
They have the most passing yards. That's all I know. They have the most They have the most touchdowns.
Okay. So then they probably have the most points.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are prime time entertainment.
QBR.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great time. Extraordinary things are happening in Madrid right now. Offensively, at least.
Yeah.
The fact that they still gave up how many points was that last week to Helvetic? 35,
36 or something like that.
35, yeah. So, but
yeah, 35.
Well, cool. Any final thoughts about week 4?
I like that we're still learning about teams every week. Because it's such a short, long season. Mm-hmm. Like, we're a third of the way through the season, and it feels weird.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of weird things happening right now, but
yeah.
I'm here for it, dude. I'm riding the wave. It has not been as predictable this year, even with there being blowouts. The blowouts themselves are not as predictable. So
whoever made the schedule did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it before. I hope they change how they make the schedule next year and let teams play more people, kind of how the NFL does, where like the winners of each division will play each other, second place, etc., and you just play a separate conference. But last final thing, I comment on this under the post. I love that Paris is sitting third in their division at 2-2 with their 2 wins against the reigning back-to-back champs in Stuttgart.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. Dude, as far as the schedule, dude, they got so shafted.
Oh, they got shafted. But
like Paris is easily a top 5 team in this league.
I think we all have them top 4 in our standings. Go fact check me on our Instagram. I posted it yesterday. I got you, big dog. But yeah, it's just brutal to see that, and I think that on most people's boards, they're 4 or 5, and they're still having to. Again, they could be 4th or 5th in our power rankings and not make the playoffs. Well, my Wi-Fi is not loading, so I don't know what to tell you. That's okay. It doesn't matter.
Here we go. No, never mind.
No, that's
yeah, you do have him at 4. Yep. I have him at 5, or Tanner has him at 5. I have him at 4 as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have 4 and 5.
Cool.
But last final thing, gotta praise Vienna for a bit. They look like a complete team.
Yeah.
Their offense hasn't even fully clicked yet. Ben Holmes has admitted it, kind of, but their defense is wild.
Disgusting.
Yes, they haven't played a bunch of people yet, but in 4 games they have given up 35 total points, and they have a point differential of 108.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Vienna looks nasty. And to your point, I mean, even without Ben Holmes having to say it, I don't even think, I mean, he's going to say what he's going to say. And so he has more insight than we do. I wouldn't even say from what I'm seeing that it's not that the offense is clicking. It just seems like they're holding back, like purposely.
They're also hurt. Yannick Meyer went out. Kari Pargerini went out. They did get Beer Bomber back, and he made a sick touchdown grab the other day.
Yeah, that one-hander, dude, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Big men should not be able to do that, but he can.
But so Jamal messaged us today asking, he apparently heard some rumors or rumblings. Are the Storm overrated? They have a 98-point differential. They've given up 33 points in 3 games, scored 131. Are they overrated, or they need to be where they're at?
I mean, as far as point differential, that's where you want to be because, 56-12 against Helvetic. I mean, that's a massive blowout. 40-21 against Vroslav sounds about right. And 35-0 against Berlin. I mean, they're taking care of business. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I don't see how you could say that they're overrated.
No, they're doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
If they had close games against these teams, they might be a little overhyped.
But they're blowing people out of the water right now.
Yeah.
And Jadrian Clark looks like the best version of Jadrian Clark we've maybe seen in the regular season in a couple of years at least. Like,
at least for us.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say a couple of years.
No.
But I mean, we've seen him in the playoffs. He always takes it up a notch, but I feel like we're getting playoff Jadrian in the regular season right now. And I mean, dude, he's accurate. He's making good decisions. He's taking care of the ball. Dude, if you try to pressure him in any way, he just kind of spins out of things and then just makes an easy throw. Like I'm not worried about the Storm. They're going to do just fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our awards for the week. Daniel, who is our player of the week, the good one?
Big dog.
Big dog.
Our big dog is Mr. Willie Patterson.
Ooh-wee. Why? Why is Willie?
5 total touchdowns.
5 tutties?
5 tutties.
5 tutties.
2 in the air.
Ooh.
2 on the ground.
On the ground?
And like a 60-yard punt return or something like that.
Wild.
What's funny is his yards don't show it, but 5 tutties is 5 tutties. He only had 141 total yards, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I don't give a crap what it says. 5 tuds is 5 tuds.
5 tutties is 5
He
tutties.
put 35, well, not 35. He put 30 points on the board. Okay.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
Wild.
Yeah. No, his like ball carrier vision too, like that punt return that he did have.
Dude, him and Burrell, wild.
Yeah. Good times. Hey, if you're a Prague Lions fan, this is, we talked about it at the beginning of the season of, just be competitive this year. Prague is competitive this year. Yeah, and
they doubled their wins from last year.
Which is crazy because we're only 4 games into the season. But no, they look a lot better. I still don't think that they're going to make the playoffs, but
no, they're not a playoff team. They never expected to be a playoff team. They wanted to improve and improve.
But you know what? I could see a world where they go 6-6.
That'd be wild.
And I'd be so happy for Prague fans, bro.
I'd be buying a Prague jersey if they went 6-6.
You know what? I'll get a Prague jersey too if they go 6-6. Screw it.
That Prague
we're saying that on 6-10 right now.
What?
I said we're saying that on 6-10 right now.
Yeah.
The
Prague GM followed me on my personal account the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jordan Bois liked my Instagram post the other day. Or today, I guess, technically when we record this, but other day by the time people listen. All right.
Goes to you.
For the unsung hero?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like, we have quite a few folks who are very deserving of the unsung hero. We had multiple guys who had multiple interceptions this week. So I do want to point that out. Streeter had multiple interceptions.
Streeter is balling.
Yeah. Guilford had multiple interceptions. Like I said, was putting DJ Irons in prison that whole time. But the unsung hero of this week, and I know exactly why you tossed it to me because you didn't want to have to butcher this last name here.
No.
But my boy, Finn Schwarzkopf. Yeah. I'm gonna just call you Finn. Your mama named you Finn. I'm gonna call you Finn, brother. But that boy Finn,
Galaxy.
yeah, for the back-to-back Galaxy defense too, dude. They are.
Yeah.
I like the Galaxy. They're fun. They're exciting. They're just such a wild card, you know.
I have no clue what to expect when they play.
Exactly, and it's so much fun because they find ways to win, and they find very random ways to win.
Just fun.
But my boy Finn, 4 tackles, okay, 2 pass breakups, all right. But then get this, a tackle for a loss, 2 interceptions, and a pick 6.
Nice.
My brother scored a tutty.
He got points on defense.
Yeah, he got points on defense. And Frankfurt took care of business this week, looked good, got the dub. And I like the pick. Tanner's actually the one who advocated for this one because I was going for Guilford. But no, I mean, Frankfurt put up big points against Cologne, made it look easy. And my boy Finn was out there hooping.
And he's a homegrown. Shout out homegrown.
We love that, dude. Honestly, the homegrowns have been balling out this year, and it's so nice to see.
Yeah, I really want like a Finnish team, like a Finland team, because like what is it? 5 out of the 6 imports for the Vikings are all like Finnish. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like they can have a really good team. And have like
because then that means your team's going to take a step.
I know, but it would be really good for the league because like I trust the Vikings and Clay to go recruit other players. Like we can see them turn players into ballers. Like it's fine. Yeah. But to have like a Nordic rivalry and add another powerhouse to the team, I don't know how deep their homegrowns actually go. That'd be more of a Matt Bresington question. But I wouldn't mind it.
And I mean, as far as getting imports, I've heard that the Nordic countries are a great place to live if you're an American.
They're beautiful.
Beautiful. You get free healthcare out there. That's crazy. So that's our unsung hero. Now it comes time for Mr. Fiasco himself, the 4th down fiasco player of the week, the one, the only, DJ Irons.
Oh.
Mr. It's in God's hand himself.
He told me he wasn't going to be on this list. We sent it out to the public to vote, and he won the vote by 3 votes.
And also, not only that, I do just want to say, and I won't call out which and who or anything like that, but it is funny because you and I can see on the back end who votes for who.
I was loving life going through these results, seeing what people voted for.
Dog, the amount of quarterbacks that voted for DJ Irons to be the Fiasco player of the week was just hilarious. And big name quarterbacks. I can't say who. I'm not going to say who. But it was funny.
Yeah. Shout out Tyrol for coming in second. We're just going to give it our runners up for Mr. Fiasco of the week. It was the entire Tyrol Raiders.
Yeah, the entire
Raiders of Tyrol.
Raiders Tyrol. Yeah, relax before we get yelled at on Instagram again.
But no, we almost gave it to a full team. But Mr. Irons decided to throw 3 picks and get sacked 4 times, which isn't all his fault.
Yeah. But he also did get into an argument with his head coach, too.
We heard he got a little heated on sidelines. But hey, ball's ball, right? Ball's ball.
Hey, we're all passionate players. Yeah. We're all passionate players. But, DJ, we really didn't want to have to do this because we didn't want the repercussions that are going to come with this. But here we are.
I was looking at our Instagram statistics the other day. If you're not following us on Instagram, go follow us. I can see how many people percentage-wise aren't following us. You're liking our stuff anyways. Hit the follow button. It's not that hard. Yeah. But out of the last 2 months, our top 4 most viewed posts are our Fiasco Player of the Week. The only outlier is Jadrian Clark winning Big Dog of the Week. So people are eating up this Fiasco award, and we've heard it was like we're bold to even do this. It's like, sorry.
Look, it's all intended to be fun. At the end of the day, football is football is football. It's a game. We're here to have fun, have a good time. And if you can't laugh at yourself a little bit, then that's on you. I have screwed up plenty of times in life and have been made fun of for it. And you just got to roll with the punches, I mean, I even in an interview with Tony Anderson, totally was which coach should I say? I was saying like a totally different team's coach talking about his coach, and I screwed that interview up big time. There was 2 different occasions, and he corrected me mid-interview for both things, and it was funny, and we moved on, and it's not a big deal. It's football,
It is a new professional league.
Yeah. So
if you're butthurt about it, don't play bad. you play better than us, but you played out of the people in the league. You were one of the worst. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just like that argument in baseball where it's there's unwritten rules about bat flips and things like that. And it's like, dude, if you didn't want someone to bat flip on you, then don't throw a meatball down the middle of the plate.
Don't give up a 500-foot home run.
If you don't want people celebrating on your court, then don't let them hit a buzzer beater. If you don't want someone planting a flag on your field, don't let them beat you in your house.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be Mr. Fiasco, play better.
Don't get blown out by Prague.
Yes.
And we know one of your picks wasn't your fault. Come on.
Yes, this is true. He should have only had
probably
2.
a touchdown.
He should have only had 2 interceptions. This is true.
Had him burnt, and he just handed him the football.
Well, and also this is he should have been the Fiasco Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago whenever he was asking Glenn Tunga for some booger sugar in his Instagram DMs. So this was built up karma. This was long.
It kind of helped that he had a little bit of a history in 4 weeks.
Yeah. So DJ, we love you. We still consider you a friend of the pod. I hope
back
you
on.
Consider us. Hey, yeah, if you got a problem, we will gladly bring you on. We've been wanting to bring on a Mr. Fiasco.
If you're Mr. Fiasco, let us know. Hey, sometimes it helps. Look at the Paris O-line week 1. Now look where they are now. Not saying it's because of us, but the correlation is there.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just printed out that picture of Mr. Fiasco and just boom, right in the O-line locker room.
Well, whenever Artis gets reinstated again this upcoming week, I bet he balls out. Watch. DeMarco Artis is going to go off for 15 tackles, and it's going to be stupid ridiculous.
Hopefully. I want one way or the other of a Big Dog to Mr. Fiasco or a Mr. Fiasco to Big Dog. We almost had it this week with Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah. And yeah, he was going to be on the bad end of that.
Luckily, though, DJ Irons decided to have a breakdown. But
yeah. But, even going back to Isaiah Weed, the week following after that designation, he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we breed success with this award. It must really piss people off, and it makes me happy that it does, because it's like, all right, so you're paying attention. Good.
We went from the interview curse last year.
Oh, my God, I forgot about the interview curse. That was so bad, dude, because people were not wanting to talk to us.
Yeah, bad.
All right, we've been rambling on too long about our awards. Let's talk some real football here, and let's go into week 5. Let's do our pick'ems, shall we, Daniel?
We only have 6 games this week, which is kind of sad, but that's okay.
It might be some teams need some rest, and
they're tired.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get a solid slate of games out of this week. I really do. I'm excited for a number of these. So we'll start with Wrocław Cologne. This is one of the games I'm not excited about.
Yeah.
DJ Irons.
We'll learn more about players this week as well, or teams, more about teams this week as well.
Yeah. DJ Irons, this is your chance to redeem yourself with, going to Cologne. Brother, there's no reason why you don't put up 5 tuds. Just saying.
Yeah. So ELF data has the line at plus 21.
Oh, give me the over.
Well, I don't know what's been going on with the Panthers' run offense. Brzezowski's averaging like 1 or 2 yards a carry, and he's getting like 15 carries a game. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'm taking the over 21.
Yeah.
But
So,
maybe
y'all heard that here, folks. If you like Bet Stamp and you like to put money down, and you're in the UK, because UK is the only country that this works in for us, you can place a bet. Signupexpert.com/fiasco. Which of the bookies is it that has it?
Bet365.
Bet365. Yeah, Bet365. You can put $10
the, like, official lines come out like Friday afternoon or something like that. I don't know. So
but it's definitely going to be over 21. I'm letting y'all know that right now.
So yeah, get your money in before they start realizing that they're going to be losing a bunch of money.
Yeah, before they realize that line is stupid.
Yes.
I don't think we have much more to say about that game. Now, this game coming up is interesting because there's a lot of drama with this game. The Hamburg Sea Devils will be visiting the Rhine Fire, who currently have a losing record. And things aren't looking too hot. Tom Sula is out. Why is Tom Sula out? Do you know?
Personal reasons.
Still? Okay. OC just got let go of, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was axed or mutual disagreeing.
Yeah. Oh, so OC gone.
OC
and Ryan has not looked like themselves.
They lost
losses
at home.
At home.
Which 3 straight at home is the question.
And that's the hard part is with Hamburg. Hamburg looked a lot better last week. Tagovailoa looked much better last week.
Looked real good.
And so now it's an opportunity to see Tagovailoa now that he actually, is a part of the offense, has had some practices, wasn't just tossed in the fire against the Stuttgart Surge week 1 after not playing football for a year and a half. How is he going to fare against the Rhine Fire defense?
I think he'll fare pretty good. And this might shock you, though. The line, +3 to the Sea Devils.
Ooh, that is a ballsy line.
I'm going to take it.
Wait, so are you predicting them?
I'm taking Hamburg.
Ooh.
I want to be spicy.
I like it.
Spicy.
I'm normally the spicy one on this pod, so I'll take it.
You're 4 games back. I need to give you a little bit of hope.
I appreciate that. I'm going with Ryan on this one. I don't see them losing 3 games straight.
They haven't done anything. Literally, they've scored 31 total points. In 3 weeks.
Dude, even if their ball boy has to decapitate somebody in order for them to win, Ryan is going to find a way to not lose a 3rd game in a row. But I like it though, Dan.
I see it. I see them going back to back to back at home.
And which if they hit 1 and 3, they're done.
If they go 1 and 3, they're done. Unless
they're not winning out.
Disastrous collapse, and maybe the Rhine Fire go 1 and 3, then finish 9 and 3.
You think that because they also still have to play Vienna again, they have to play Paris again.
No, they played Paris twice.
Oh yeah, they did already play them a second time.
They do play Nordic twice and the Raiders twice.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about the Raiders. Ain't nobody worried about the Raiders like that. But they have to play Nordic twice, so I don't like that.
If they lose this week, I think the best they finish is 8-4.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that goes back to the Paris conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Who at 8-4 is getting in?
Well, Paris would get it because they would have the point differential between the 2 matchups.
Well, they'd have the head-to-head.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Oh wait, no, they split 1-1. So
they split it 1-1, but in the head-to-head, as far as point differential, Paris beats.
I don't know ELF's full tiebreakers. I don't know if they go straight to actual overall point differential or head-to-head point differential.
I mean, also if they do overall point differential, Paris is going to win that.
So far, yeah, but
yeah, so far at least, yeah.
I don't like the Rhine Fire team right now. The teams are going. The 2 teams playing are going in opposite directions.
Yeah, crazy. That takes us to
the toilet bowl.
In the Battle of Shit Hill, the Färöer Enthroners versus the Berlin Thunder. Granted, Berlin's still a whole tier above Färöer, in my opinion.
You
What's
need
the
to
line?
remake your graphic from last year. Remember your
Yeah, I do need to do that, don't I? The king of shit.
before we pick plus 13 to the Thunder.
Only plus 13.
That actually seems like high to me. I don't know.
I mean, what is Färöer gonna do though?
No, that's fair because the Thunder Goggins is out, or is it Goggins?
It is
The
good.
wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they did put 63 up against Cologne. Cologne is worse than Färöer.
But not by a lot.
No, I like that. I could see like a 21-point win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Berlin like plus 21.
Yeah, I'm taking the over on that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a good bounce back game for them. Hopefully Jake Sullivan can, put up some good yards because that brother was almost the fiasco player of the week. Honestly, had DJ Irons not have had the interception that was tipped, if that would have turned into a touchdown like it probably should have been, Sullivan would have been the...
No, yeah, because he had 4 picks.
Yeah, he did. He did not play well. He played like boo-boo.
He did. Yeah. This will be the game of the week.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Frankfurt Galaxy traveling out to Copenhagen, face the Nordic Storm. This will be our first time seeing Nordic play like a really good team. And I am excited for it.
3-0 versus 3-1.
Yeah.
Storm coming off a bye.
Yep. So they'll be fresh. But I
pick plus 10 to Storm.
Plus 10? That's a little disrespectful. I'm taking the under on that. That's a little disrespectful.
I could see like a late field goal to put it at 10.
Okay, yeah, I guess maybe to ice the game or something like that, but that just feels disrespectful.
Like I could feel like it'd be like a 7-point game with like a minute and a half left and the Storm get a touchdown and it's 14-point game and then Frankfurt just can't get it into the end zone. I don't know.
That still seems a little disrespectful. I don't know, dude. Frankfurt's offense has just been, dude. McKay, what is the phrase that they've been using for him? McKay is the way. No,
The McKay way.
the McKay way. Ooh.
The McKay way.
McKay way, brother. Put that on a cereal box. Put it on a candy bar. I don't
Put
give
it
a
on
damn.
the German Wheaties.
Yeah, yeah. Uns Ja's the German Wheaties. VTs, yes.
No, yeah.
Need the McKay way all over that, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that this will give us a really good idea if Frankfurt's legit or not.
We talked about the Paris schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously Frankfurt isn't as bad, but they've had Stuttgart, Madrid, Paris.
They're battle tested.
Cologne, Nordic, and then Paris again. Like,
They're battle tested.
yeah.
Actually, now that you mention it, honestly, I think that this is a bigger game for the Nordic Storm to see what they're about. Because I feel like we have a general idea of like Frankfurt is scrappy. They play really, really hard, and yeah, Nordic Storm. Are y'all really about that life? We're gonna find out.
Is looking really good. Their offense is looking good.
I still picked the Nordic Storm for it, especially since it's in Copenhagen. Yeah. And again, Jadrian Clark has just been wildly efficient, But I'm going to pick the under on that, though. I think this is going to be a 6-point affair.
Okay. I'm going to take it even. I think it'll be a 10-point win for Nordic. I think it'll be like that game-sealing field goal, and then with 30 seconds left, Frankfurt will try to get down the field and just chuck up a Hail Mary for shits and giggles.
Fair enough. Well, for our UK listeners, since we know that quite a few of y'all are Storm fans because of the proximity, you can go place a bet on that one. signupexpert.com/fiasco. Go to Bet365 because it's there in the UK for ELF betting. And go win some money. If you place a bet, let Danny and I know which one of us you listen to.
Yeah, if you're taking the over or under, let us know.
Yes, please. And it'll be funny to see who's right in that one. But yeah, very excited for this game. Will definitely be game of the week, I think. It's going to be a tight one. You've got two high-powered offenses, two defenses that like to hit people really hard. But this next game, I'm actually, even though their records may not necessarily tell the full description of it, I'm very excited for the Helvetic Mercenaries to take on the Munich Ravens in Munich. I still have the Ravens winning it, but I think it's going to be fun.
I could see this one getting ugly really fast, but just on the other side, I could see it being close for whatever reason the whole game. Like it feels so weird.
It feels like a trap game for Munich. Of if they get their shit together, they should win this game handily. But the problem is, we've seen it happen in this league more than once. That if you don't take things seriously, you get jumped on real quick. Yeah. And I could see a world where, especially with a 22-year-old quarterback and a young team, and you're feeling good, you're 2-1, you're on top of the world. All of these polls have been putting you in like the top 5 and all this other stuff.
They are coming off a loss.
They are coming off a loss, so hopefully they make some adjustments. But I could see a world where they're already looking past the Mercenaries.
Hopefully they don't, because last year they did beat them twice. 38-13 and 55-23.
Yeah, but I do think that this Mercenaries team, even despite being 0-3, is better than last year's Mercenaries team. If this Mercenaries team had our boy Carlton out there, things would be mad crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. I like Aiken over Weed. Sorry.
Yeah, no offense, Isaiah. But yeah, no, I'm still picking Munich to win this one. I think that they will.
You kind of have to be done at this point not to take Munich over Helvetic, but over under at plus 19.
Ooh.
Take the over.
I'm taking the under. Barely. I'm saying it's going to be like an 18-point game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking something more between 13 to 18 points on this one.
Fair. That's fair. So Helvetic is known for scoring in garbage time. They're very good against.
Very good at that.
Backups.
Yes, they are. And then the last game on our docket, this will be a fun one. As long as the correct version of Raiders Tyrol shows up to the game, which I think
Raid versus ground and pound.
Madrid Bravos versus Raiders Tyrol in a matchup that, I picked Madrid. I think Madrid will win, but Madrid should be a little worried with this one. Because you've got the likes of like Bonatti out there, and they're very run heavy out there in Tyrol.
Running back starts with W. He had 3 tutties against Cologne.
Yeah,
Weissauer.
Yeah, it's there, and Nkosi Perry is known for being a speedster. He's a guy who can burn you real quick. So, and Madrid's defense struggles to stop the run. That has been their weakness. It was last year. It is so far this year. So I still think that, dude, Sinet, Cruikshank, and Seelig are just – they're on a whole nother level right now.
The Raiders can run the ball and kill the clock, but Madrid can score in 4 seconds.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be brutal to watch that too, especially like if the Raiders come out on their first drive, it takes them like 15 plays, but then they get into the end zone, they're all excited, and then it's like, all right, 50-yard bomb to Cruikshank. Now we're at the 20-yard line. Okay, out route to Seelig Tutty. Like,
before I say the line, what do you think the line for this game is?
I feel like they did something disrespectful and put it at like 25 or something.
Plus 8 for Tyrol.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm taking Madrid to cover that one.
Me too, but okay. Even dude,
it's in Tyrol. Elevation, maybe. They're sitting at like 9,000 feet or whatever it was.
Yeah, but Madrid's also in the mountains. Not nearly the same, obviously.
Are they? What's Madrid's elevation?
Almost positive. I'll look up Tyrol's.
They are 2,000 feet above sea level.
And then Tyrol's elevation. Tyrol's elevation is 3,800. So they're getting about 2,000 feet.
The Tyrol's elevation is 3,800 meters.
Oh,
That is 12,000 feet.
God.
They are going up over 10,000 feet in elevation for this.
The Americans falling to the customary system. Pain. Okay, yeah. Oof. Dude, that is brutal. My God.
That is also the highest peak. I think the field is sitting at 9,000, so it's still
9,000 is rough.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in Denver, it's a mile high, so they say, and there are other places in the country that are even a little higher than that. Like I know it's higher down in like Santa Fe. Santa Fe is at like 6,500. But my goodness, that is up there.
Yeah,
crazy.
That's wild. So I'll be curious to see how Madrid. I don't think they can't possibly keep up the speed they're going, right? Like, I don't think they're that physically trained. Like, people can't play in Denver in the NFL because of restrictions. Mm-hmm. And they train, I mean, not to knock the training resume, but we know the homegrown players have full-time jobs and et cetera. ELF players can't train as hard as NFL players because they don't have the time to do so.
Yeah, but pound for pound, A import versus A import, dog, give me Madrid all day.
No, yeah.
Plus, you would think that, Raiders Tyrol would kind of whoop up on everybody at home, and they've lost home games, So I'm not saying that it isn't an advantage, because it definitely is. That's the reason why, the U.S. Olympic team trains in Colorado Springs, is because it's at like 6,000 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it makes a bigger deal with pro athletes, maybe because of the time and everything, versus the average schmo Joe who's, a pharmacist on the side or an elementary school teacher or whatever that's playing football. I don't know if him going up against, former USFL players is going to make a difference at, 9,000 feet above sea level.
No, yeah.
So,
but those are 6 games.
Yeah, no, we've got some good ones. The Madrid Raiders Tyrol game is going to be a good one. That Hamburg Rhein game is going to be good. Frankfurt versus Nordic Storm is going to be good. And even the ones that aren't going to be good have the potential to be fun. I think that Munich game will be fun. I'd also like to see, since Tabor did struggle a little bit last week, would love to see him regain his footing. Would love to see him have like a 6 touchdown week and be the big dog.
Seriously.
Like that,
But I've seen some critics. I don't know. My Facebook feed is now starting to get filled with ELF stuff, and I haven't followed anyone. It's weird. It's cool. A lot of comments are like, "Wow, this is a shit league. Like, look at these blowouts. Blah blah blah." Outside of the East Division, because we got Färöer Wrocław, and shout out Prague being the only team at 500 besides the Vikings.
Yep.
Every other division's actually pretty close. Mm-hmm. To the West is 3-1, and then Paris at 2-2. Then you got Cologne. It doesn't matter, but that will be a title race. We got the North, which is really weird, with the Storm at 3-0, the Sea Devils at 2-2, and then the Fire at 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have put money on that in the beginning of the year. And then the South, with Madrid at 3-1 with a questionable defense, Munich at 2-1, their only loss coming against Stuttgart, and then the Raiders, who we have no clue what's going to happen, at 2-2.
Yeah. I think that Tanner and I talked about this last week, but if you could just, I know that there might be some cultural things. I don't understand that region of Europe quite as well, but combine Prague and Färöer, and I think that you can put together a decent enough football team.
You could, but I was listening to your episode on the way back from Casper. Mm-hmm. I forget who commented on it as well on YouTube. Teams are homegrown. They can't travel during the weekdays. You can't meet them in a different country.
Yeah.
They have to be close to the practice facility. If you could pay the players enough money to survive, mm-hmm. which in the future they will, hopefully, fingers crossed this league keeps growing.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future we will get a a mix between Färövar and Prague.
Okay.
Or Färövar, like whatever out of those three teams, whatever one makes sense to combine.
Okay, fine. Then how about this? We just scrapped Färövar entirely. No offense to the Enthroners, but out of the two teams, you are the one that is not on the upward trajectory. Keep Prague. Prague has the ability to use a homegrown tag on all players that come from Färövar and from Hungary, and then you have a formidable football team. And then because you have 15 teams, add the Finnish team, and then all of a sudden, dog. Now the league looks mad.
In Amsterdam, you don't even need a Finnish team. But to touch on what you guys talked about last week as well, that Reddit post, before even Tanner called it out saying it a draft, giving the bottom X teams small increments of extra E imports would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and especially with some of these just smaller countries too,
like give Färövar 5 extra E imports, see what they can do with it.
Yeah, literally just because I think if you give a team like Färövar or Prague, we'll use Prague as an example because they're actually somewhat competitive here. But if you gave Prague 5 extra E imports, dude, let them use 3 on the offensive line.
They used 4, I think, on the line. 3 or 4 already on the line.
Okay, then have their E import, like the entire offensive line be E imports, have their entire defensive line be E imports. All of a sudden now, that's looking like a problem.
Yeah, but like we've talked about it since we started following this league. O-line is the biggest issue these teams have. If you don't have, like, we see it with Helvetic, we see it with Färövar, we see it with Wrocław.
O-line and defensive tackle.
Yeah, like if you could build an O-line, these American quarterbacks can make it work. You have to give them more than 0.2 of a second. You can't in any league. You couldn't win a game.
Yeah,
with a quarterback sitting on its butt.
Yeah, true.
So like, do the draft. Whoever's in last, give them 5. Then go up to 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
It's like give the bottom 5 teams extra E imports.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it'll suck if they do improve like the next year. They might only get 2. They'll have to cut people. But we see the roster turnover from last year to this year.
Yeah, it's such a carousel. It's not like it really matters. At least.
And then also, you're trying to grow the homegrowns. Don't throw them out there to destroy their confidence. Bring in the E's. Teach them.
Yeah.
Bring in the Germans. Bring in the British. Bring the British.
Bring in the British.
Bring in the British. Bring in the Nordic countries. Like bring in the Austrians. Help develop the homegrown through Europeans. It doesn't have to be through Americans and American coaches or even homegrown coaches.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And also, it also helps with the fan bases too, because there's a reason why people don't show up to the Färövar games.
Because you suck. Sorry.
Because you suck. And yeah, like if I know that my team is going to get blown out 47-3 every game that they play, I'm not going to go. That's not fun. That especially if I'm someone who, football probably isn't a sport that I really grew up with in that area. Maybe it is, but probably isn't. Why would I get interested in a brand new sport that I have to learn all this stuff about if my team sucks?
Yeah, like it's not fun.
Yeah,
like I grew up watching Cincinnati. It was not fun when we lost. It sucked.
But I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
But like, and you're not taking away anything, bringing in Europeans. You're helping the Europeans that couldn't make a roster. They couldn't make the Viennas they could if there were a third string, but they're not going to do that. Yeah. These players want to prove something. And Tanner said it last week. Have them sign to a team to prove to the top teams, hey, sign me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think, too, that puts more pressure on leagues like the GFL and such, because right now only German teams, for the most part, can get the GFL guys to be their homegrowns. And so, that does leave, plenty of good talent still in the GFL. Same with the IFL. Same with like France's league as well. There's plenty of good talent in those countries, in these other leagues. And it's because only so many people have access to them. But then all of a sudden you start saying, hey, yeah, Prague, you were like the 3rd worst team last year. You get 3 E imports on top of the ones that you have.
Imagine Prague this year with more E imports. Imagine what Matt could have done with 3 more E slots.
Be crazy.
It would have been wild.
Yeah.
I'm going to text him after this and ask him if you could have had 3 more E players, who are you taking?
And, you know, that's going to just put pressure on these other leagues because these other players across the league, in these other leagues, are starting to recognize that the best league in Europe for American football is the ELF.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me that, hey, yeah, I wasn't quite good enough to make Vienna's roster, but I could go play for Prague and go whoop some ass, and to your point, go prove it that I'm good enough to be on one of these German teams, I'm going to go do that.
Yeah. Cologne's a whole different story. They're a German team. Figure out your finances before joining a league.
Yeah, I was about to say they're
players don't join a league.
Yeah.
It makes everyone else look bad.
Yes.
Calling out you, Cologne and Helvetic. At least Helvetic made a mood and fired the guy that was the issue.
Yeah. But, well, any last thoughts, comments, anything like that?
Hey, Patrick, Mr. Azuma, let us know if you need help with rules. We got you.
Or if you just want to give us like 20% of the league, brother, like I could run that shit in my sleep. What you mean? I do marketing for a living. I'm pretty good at it.
Let's talk Patrick or Mr. Azuma. Sorry. It's more formal.
I'm gonna call you Pat. Can I call you Pat? Is we homies?
He seems like a Pat.
Yeah, he seems like a Pat. I wasn't gonna call him Patty. That seems disrespectful, but Pat's cool.
Seems like.
So, well, cool. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been Danny and Jordan. Again, you can follow us on social media. We are at _pod on Twitter, and we are at 4th Down Fiasco on Instagram and TikTok. Definitely want to follow us on Instagram. That's probably where we're the most popping. We be on there talking shit. So make sure you follow us. But thanks so much for listening, everyone, and we will see y'all next week.
In the words of Tanner, hugs and kisses.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.